cu el, să ascultați răspunsurile pe care le dă ambasadorul, cum spuneam, celui mai curajos stat din Europa. E vorba de Regatul Danemarcei, Excelența sa Soren Jensen. Ne-a acordat un interviu chiar în urmă cu puțină vreme, în care ne explică cum a ajuns țara sa să fie prima care ridică toate restricțiile și, în același timp, care sunt soluțiile la criza economică și energetică pe care le-a accesat guvernul de la Copenhaga. Your Excellency, thank you first of all for the honor of joining us in this interview. I want to tell you first that a lot of people, of course, including in Romania, they are wondering how Denmark decided to lift all the restrictions for the pandemic. And I want to ask you, where come from the courage for such a decision?
Well, I think it came based on advice from medical experts, epidemiological experts. Basically, the assessment was that the combination of there being a new variant, the Omicron variant, which was, yes, very contagious, but also less dangerous, made people less ill. More people became less seriously ill, as one thing, and the other thing being that we have a very high vaccination rate in Denmark, meaning also that people are more immune to the effect of the disease. This means that we no longer consider it to be a dangerous disease, and there is no longer any need for restrictions.
But still, high numbers for contamination. You are still in the peak of the fifth wave.
Very much so. And now with the restrictions gone, there's expected even more infections. The point, though, is that the people who do get infected become less ill. They're less likely to go to the hospital.
So starting from now on, no limitation for circulation, for using different public spaces, for the hours of different activities, for wearing masks in the public spaces?
That's correct. The only restrictions that are still in place relate to travel restrictions and entry restrictions. And also, there are still a number of companies, let's say, in critical functions, but also companies like shops where many people congregate, where many people meet, who still use masks. But it's not obligatory, but many decide still to do it just to keep safe. Wearing a mask, of course, also protects you from other diseases and viruses. So it can, under some circumstances anyway, be a good idea to wear a mask.
Do you have any estimation what will mean if this restriction will be still in place right now or even for the next month for the economic point of view?
Well, we have seen a reopening of the economy over time. We were, of course, like all other countries, hit quite dramatically in the beginning of the period, but I think there were some advantages in Denmark, one of them being a very high level of digitalization. We were well connected. It means that a lot of business could be conducted simply online. It also meant that our schools, our educational facilities could function almost normally, of course, not fully normally, but online. And already now, all contacts between citizens and the public sector is predominantly online. So a lot of things could be done anyway in society because of our high level of digitalization. And the economy already last year, the end of last year, when it comes to activity, but also to employment levels, actually reached the levels we had before the pandemic, even slightly higher. So the economy is already doing well. Of course, certain sectors that were affected by the restrictions, particularly the entertainment sectors, hotels, bars, theaters, nightclubs, things like that, can now benefit fully from the opening. The main issues that we're looking at right now, of course, is to help the consumer. In the longer run, the real solution to this, of course, is to become independent of this kind of gas delivery from other countries, which involves using, we prefer to look at sustainable energy sources like wind and solar power and hydropower like you have here in Romania.
Yeah, very, very strong objective, and very nice dream to have it, this kind of independence. Tell me at the end if, in your opinion, we have to be optimistic for 2022, or you are afraid of something looking to the next month?
Well, I think we've all learned to be careful to predict the situation when it comes to the COVID development, as we've seen many times new variants pop up, particularly from of course areas where there's a low vaccine rate. There is a risk of new variants coming out, new mutations. So that could certainly still happen. And the other big issue, of course, is the security political situation just on the borders of Romania that also affect Denmark and affects all of Europe. The situation, of course, around Ukraine, where we hope, as everyone else, that there can be found a political, a diplomatic solution to the conflict, as it would be very detrimental for everyone involved if it came to a conflict.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and we hope it will be a good year for everybody, also for the Danish people. Thank you again.
And for the Romanian people too. Thank you very much.